You know, this Nintendo Direct could be really insane. Think about it. We could potentially have the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, a Bayonetta 3 game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, maybe even a tease for Metroid Prime 4, Splatoon 3, not to mention the rumored games like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, or maybe even a brand new Donkey Kong game. And this doesn't even count the games that we don't even know about. This June 2022 Nintendo Direct is gonna be insane. What games are you looking forward to at the June 2022 Nintendo Direct? So the June 2022 Nintendo Direct is going to be coming soon, very soon in fact, and that's when we're going to get a ton of new Nintendo Switch games that we've been waiting for quite some time. From Breath of the Wild 2's gameplay reveal to the reveal for Bayonetta 3's release date, and even more info on Splatoon 3, which is a game that I'm personally excited for as someone who's never played a Splatoon game. But I think the big question that's been all of our minds is not what's going to be shown, but more importantly, in what capacity. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like, it helps the video out a lot, or dislike if not. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is RoboRob93. So first up, let's talk about the big game, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. So we know that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 was delayed until spring of 2023, and yeah, it does kinda suck that this has happened, but I'd rather have them delay it to be great at launch than say buggy at launch. I've already had my share of games like that, and I do not want that to happen to Breath of the Wild 2. Plus, Xenoblades 2 and the mass amount of Nintendo Switch games already in the pipeline will keep us busy until next spring anyways. But even if Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, there is still a great chance that we could see huge gameplay reveals for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, but equally, there is a chance that we will just not see a gameplay reveal, and just hear me out on this. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed until next year. That means there is plenty of time to work on this game. On one side, you could say that since there is so much time, the game is ready to be shown off, and yeah, that's always a possibility. We could see it at that June Nintendo Direct. But here's the thing, will it really? Because it's a year out, well, a little less than a year. It's about a year, right? Nintendo could easily show off a full gameplay reveal at, say, a Nintendo Treehouse dedicated to the game to show off a ton of gameplay during the time that they showed the next Nintendo console. Showing it next to the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or whatever the next Nintendo console is gonna be is surely gonna help those sales of that console. Nintendo themselves have already talked about the next Nintendo console, and in that Nvidia leak, Nvidia is doing something with Nintendo as well for the next Nintendo console, so it's gonna happen. And what better way is to release it alongside the reveal of the next Nintendo console, just like Breath of the Wild 1. Well, they didn't reveal it with that console, they showed off gameplay during that trailer reveal. Remember guys, Nintendo still has a ton of games that they need to release, so they're not in a hurry for this game. Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and let's not forget about the big boy Xenoblades 3, but specifically Splatoon 3, because that game is closer than Breath of the Wild 2, and I think that's going to be their big game for the June 2022 Nintendo Direct. And remember guys, the full-length reveal for the gameplay for Breath of the Wild 1 was on January 21st in a treehouse, not on that June Nintendo Direct. So the same thing can be done for Breath of the Wild 2. Now, of course, I could be wrong on this, but something tells me that Nintendo is gonna wait on Breath of the Wild 2 a little longer in favor of showing off their games that are closer to their release dates. Next up, let's talk about something that I think has the potential of happening, and that is the Zelda ports or something Zelda this year, because they could do something else other than these ports. Because remember, they always do one thing Zelda a year, so something Zelda has to happen, right? Since Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed until spring of 2023, if Nintendo is gonna keep that one Zelda game a year, then something Zelda would more than likely happen at that June 2022 Nintendo Direct. And I have a couple things in mind, with the first one being a double pack for The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This is something that has been rumored for quite some time now. Now that Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, one would assume that it is coming soon. According to various Nintendo leakers, the Zelda games are actually ready and Nintendo is just waiting for a spot to drop them where they don't have a game, and now that Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, well, now's the perfect chance. Now, if you have ever thought, how did they treat The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary like dirt and give Mario for his anniversary pretty much everything? Click the top right corner of this video and learn why they did that. Now, another option would be a remake for an older Zelda game. The Oracle games are among the games that are rumored to have a remake, so that is something that Nintendo could possibly do, which I've never played the Oracle game, so I don't know if they're good or not, but I'm sure the comment section will let me know if they're worth playing. I also have a video on the Oracle remake as well as other Nintendo Switch games. Click the top right corner for that. Now, there was a trademark for the Minish Cap as as well, but I think that's going to be for Game Boy Advance games, and I don't think it's going to be a remake for the Minish Cap, which we will talk about later as soon as we talk about Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3 for the June Nintendo Direct is going to be a huge blowout. That's what I think. I think they're going to show a ton of gameplay and explain more about the story mode and different aspects of the abilities and things that you can do in the story mode, and of course the multiplayer as well, which is something that I know a lot of you guys are interested in. Since Splatoon 3 is coming out in September, I think Nintendo will want to get that last blast of news for players to get excited for this game. I think there will be a beta announced for the multiplayer as well, and I think that's going to come very soon. I mean, it is coming out in September, so a beta for the game will most likely drop in the next 1 or 2 months, I would think anyways. And next up we have Bayonetta 3, a game that we just haven't heard anything from, which is really weird, right? Because I think the last trailer was at the last E3, if I remember correctly. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was at the E3 Direct from last year. Now, since then, we haven't had anything from it in any significant way that I've seen personally. This game has been in development for so long. Just like Shin Megami Tensei 5, it's been a while since we've seen any gameplay, and we don't really know much about it except from the small snippets of gameplay that we already have. I would expect a full gameplay reveal from Bayonetta 3, a long gameplay reveal, not no 3 minutes or 2 minute videos like we had last time, a full 5 or 10 minute gameplay reveal. And of course, I think we should definitely get a release date. I mean, it'd be crazy if we didn't get a release date, right? And I think if we do not get a release date, I think we really have to talk about this game and its development and if it's going through any troubles with its development, because by now, something should have happened. I mean, I would think at the very least, very least, we could get a dev update maybe and see what the heck is going on with Bayonetta 3. Now, circling back around to Zelda and, well, kinda, we're gonna be talking about GBA Games. Now, as I said, there was a trademark for Minish Cap that appeared, but that's not gonna be for the Zelda remake or anything that has to do with that. I think it's gonna be for Game Boy Advance games. If you guys haven't heard, it is rumored that Nintendo Switch is gonna be getting Game Boy Advance games via the Nintendo Switch online service. Not only that, but recently in an investor meeting, Nintendo did talk about improving the virtual console for the Switch. And ways that they would improve it is adding more consoles and more games, according to them, to not lose any more subscribers. They essentially want to keep us interested in this service, and what better way to do that than Game Boy Advance games. Now, according to that rumor, a Game Boy Advance emulator was being used to play Game Boy Advance games, and that emulator actually leaked. It's fully playable. And not only is the Game Boy Advance emulator workable and real, but it also has games used on it, and it was found in the code, like games like Mega Man Battle Network, Golden Sun, I mean, there's even Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. There are a ton of fantastic games on that list. If you want to learn about all of those games, click the top right corner of this video. Now, I think we need to sort of address the elephant in the room, the big elephant, Metroid Prime 4. This game is probably not going to be at the Nintendo Direct in any huge way. In fact, I would say we would be lucky to even get a CGI trailer, which I really don't want unless it's going to have gameplay snippets in between the CGI. I don't want another CGI trailer fest like Xbox was doing. In my personal opinion, all these CGI trailers from Xbox is just bogging my excitement down for Xbox. I do, however, think that the next June Nintendo Direct, the June 2023 Nintendo Direct, will hold Metroid Prime 4. But what about Donkey Kong and Mario? I mean, we haven't really seen a new Mario game in quite some time, right? And Nintendo will surely want to set up new games for 2023. Well, I think there is a good chance that we could see a new Donkey Kong game. Right now, it is rumored that there is going to be a new Donkey Kong game, and it's going to be headed by the studio who did the Mario Odyssey game, which sounds really cool. Now, because of that, I don't think we're going to get a full Mario game, because I think if they were to do a new Mario game, I think it would be Mario Odyssey 2. And I think instead, it will be a tease for the next Mario game. I think they're just going to do maybe a CGI cutscene or something like that, which again is okay for the first reveal, but next time we see it, I hope we do see new gameplay if they are going to do a Mario game. Which, speaking of Mario, I think we will also see the Mario movie trailer, which is going to be really interesting on whatever they're going to be doing with that movie. I mean, Chris Pratt as Mario, they're going to have Jack Black as Bowser. That's going to be something, surely. Overall, I think it's going to be a fun Nintendo Direct with a ton of huge surprises, but this is all of my speculation on my part and my E3 guesses as well. Make sure you guys tell me yours in the comment section below and tell me what you think is going to be revealed. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.